So if you've ever seen my little short clip on Dr. T, Dr. Trowbridge, he is my chiropractor. I drive along with Celia all over the place, hours, hours, and hours. So our posture is affected, our shoulders are affected, sometimes our neck gets really impacted by the long drive. So I've got to have somebody that I can call and get in and get worked on. And Dr. T is absolutely amazing. Okay, watch my short clip on Dr. T if you'd like to know kind of his style. It's very unique. And that guy has healing hands. But there's a unique thing about Dr. T. He is an avid golfer. And I figure today is the day for the Augusta National. So a little story on Dr. T. I asked him why he likes golf so much. It's just something old men do. It's what he told me. I thought about it for a little bit. I said, I think I should get into it. He says, have you ever played? I said, no. He goes, oh, then I think you should get into it. Absolutely. We can play a couple rounds. I said, okay. He says, now that's usually what I tell people when they're getting into it. But if you're playing golf, I usually encourage you to not play so much. I think it might be time for you to get out of the game, right? It's kind of a mind game that he plays. He has fun with it. He also told me that because I'm 50 years old and I'm starting to play golf, that I will be horrible because I didn't start when I was 8 years old. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about that if I'm going to spend money on golf clubs, because I don't want to be really horrible, but at the same time, I kind of need a hobby. So golf is where it's going, and Dr. T, I'm coming for you. I wanted to talk a little bit about 3 key issues that I find sellers are making. They can be problematic. So 3 key problems that sellers make, and sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. All right, this is when they're considering selling their homes. The first of which is significant. Okay, this is overpricing of the home. All right, the second of which is paying too much attention to the online estimates, the homes.com, Zillow, realtors, all that stuff. And the third is going to be the prepping of their home for sale. So let's go over these real quick. Overpricing. This is easy to do even for an experienced realtor because everybody wants to get top dollar for their home. But sometimes top dollar prices you out of the buying market. Keep in mind, you have market value, which is what your home would go for and sell for. You have agreed upon value, right? And that is the buyer and the seller have agreed that the value of the home is X amount of dollars, right? Then you have the appraisal value. So you want to be very careful not to overprice your house. Well, how do I do that? Well, the biggest way to do that is to speak with somebody who actually sells homes, not somebody who lists homes. They're 2 different things, okay? When you are looking at pricing your house, pay attention to what's on the market around you. Drive the area, see how many homes are out there. Come back, research those homes, okay? What are they asking for them? Then you want to contact your local realtor professional. If you're in San Antonio, Celia and I would love to help you with this. Contact your local realtor professional. Find out what the last 4 homes were that sold in your area within a mile of your house that meet the bedroom, bathroom that your house has, year built that your home is, because you don't want a new home build or one that was 20 years older. All right? Find the last 4 of those sales. That's typically where you can base your pricing around. Right? That gets rid of any emotional, oh, I love my house so much. Oh, my countertops are just that gorgeous and my floors are immaculately clean. Somebody's going to pay $20,000 more just for this. Gets rid of any of that. Keeps us pretty factual, okay? You can, if you'd like, hire an appraiser. They can come in and get you an appraised value. But the appraiser is not going to tell you what the buyers are willing to pay in this market. So be careful with this, because if you decide to go and spend money on an appraiser, you're going to get a set value. Remember, that's the appraised value. That does not mean that the buyers will pay it. In some cases, depending on the market, buyers will pay significantly less because there's more opportunity. For example, you want an $800,000 evaluation for your house and you've got it with an appraiser, buyers will come in and they're not paying $800,000 because interest rates aren't allowing for that. The payments to own that are exorbitant. So the buyers are actually looking at a $750,000. That's what they're willing to pay for your house. It's going to set you up for a pretty disappointing conversation when an appraiser tells you that your house is $800,000, but the buyers are actually paying $750,000. And the only way to know that, the absolute only way to know that, is to talk to a realtor in your area who has sold at least 5 to 10 homes within the last 6 months. Not a year ago, not over a 2-year span, 6 months. They will be able to tell you what's going on with buyers in your market, okay? So that's really important. And people often overlook that because they think realtors are just salesmen. They're just out to come along for the ride. No, in some cases, we actually are there for you to serve you. Many of us are, okay? So overpricing, it's a big issue that can really mess up the start of your home selling, all right? If your home sits for too long, people are going to want to know why. And the first thing a buyer is going to do is say, that house has been on the market for 100 days. I think they'll take less. So you've got to get the pricing pretty close to right up front. Or you have to be okay with sitting it out and waiting for the right price, which is whatever price you think you should have. The second is the online information. Now, there's a lot of this in today's world. We have a lot of AI and Realtor.com and Zillow and Homes.com and, Trulia, wherever you're going. You even have your neighbor next door who's going to tell you what his cousin sold his house for 3 blocks away, even though he doesn't have a cousin. He misunderstood. That's not his cousin. It's his wife's best friend's fiance's nephew. Okay? And they didn't sell their house for $300,000. They sold it for $250,000, and they actually gave $15,000 in concessions as well. All right? So the online info or the outside info, it's great to get an understanding of it, but they don't take into account your subdivision. If you are selling at an average sales price of $300,000 in your subdivision, and just outside the gate is another subdivision with $500,000 homes, it will not take into consideration that subdivision difference. It's within a mile. The house is 3-bedroom, 2 bath, an acre of land. It's selling for $500,000. The average of 3 and 5s, we've got everything here. We're looking at your home being a $425,000 evaluation. But there's nothing in your area that's selling for that, right? You have to actually do the work of getting a realtor involved in the sale price of your home. The online stuff is great. It's for reference, but keep in mind, they also want you to click that little button at the bottom so they can send you to a realtor who's paying them to send you their way, okay? If you get Celia and I, or realtors like us, you're doing great. But what happens if you get that brand new realtor right out of high school who's just trying to get their foot in the door? Might be something you want to consider, okay? So please remember overpricing and that the online formats are great. They're just for basic knowledge. And sometimes they're actually off by about 5 to 15% on their evaluations, okay? The third step that a seller, potential seller, makes that is an error is the home prep. Sometimes I have sellers who believe that they need to put in new floors, they need to repaint the entire house, they need to putty up all the nail holes, they need to go ahead and do this or that, and it's a daunting task. They're looking at about $5,000 to $10,000 that they just don't have, but that they feel they need to have in order to get their house ready. Again, get an experienced realtor, and by experienced, I mean a realtor who has sold 5 to 10 homes in the last 6 months. Get them into your home and ask them, what should I fix and what should I wait to fix? Okay? We don't want to make the assumption that all the buyers are going to like tan paint. Let the realtor talk with you about what kind of trends they're seeing with their buyers. Ask a realtor, how many buyers do you usually service in a year. Most realtors go after listings. They list homes, put them on MLS, they market them. They don't actively pursue buyers. The buyers they get are their current clients that have homes to sell. Talk with a realtor who services buyers and find out in their last 5 to 10 transactions within the last 6 months, what are the buyers looking for? What are they asking for? Okay? Now, in prepping your house for sale, that does not mean that you just, other than going ahead and doing all of those fixes, you can just let it go and let the buyer actually come to you and ask you for white paint or new countertops or whatever. There has to be some work put into this. There's a way you list a house and show it, and a way you live in it. I've got 4 kids. My kids are grown. They're up and running around doing their own thing now. Okay, but when they were younger, oh my goodness, they are running through that house and it is like a whirlwind. A tornado has just ripped through my living room, and there is no way in heck that house is ready to show. Folks, if you're selling your house and you have little ones, it's a difficult task, but we've got to keep this house showroom ready. People want to walk into a house and go, wow, I love it. I want to be here. Here's an example. We were selling a house. The house was vacant. It was a beautiful home. Great floor plan. Great yard. It looked just like every other home in the area. We were having trouble selling it. So Celia decided to go ahead and have the house staged. We had it cleaned, then we had it staged. Staging a home is vital in some scenarios. If you have a normal 3-bedroom, 2-bath Lennar property, you probably want to stage your house. It's going to look like every other home in the area. When considering to spend that money, though, you have to consider 2 factors. One, is staging the house actually going to benefit the sale? In a case where you're in a Lennar or a DR Horton or a planned community, staging that house is going to be probably a good thing. Now, if you are living in the home currently, bring in your realtor or a designer and see how you can make what you currently have showroom ready. Because I guarantee you, your house with all your furnishings can look just beautiful. So when you stage a house, it adds an extra element of wow to it. And again, you can do that with your own furnishings. But we want to make it clean. We want to make it presentable. It's like going on dates, guys. We are dating these buyers, and you want them to take your home over the other 5 houses in your area. So pick up the laundry, find a place for it. If you've got kiddos, you want to clean up the countertops, get all the shoes aligned. The garage is the best place to box and store clutter. It's a garage. It's what it's used for. So that's where we want to use all that garage and clutter and store everything there to kind of get it out of the way so that when a buyer comes in, they're seeing a clean, nice landscape. So just to wrap everything up, the 3 areas that most sellers make error on are overpricing, online estimates becoming their reality, or appraised values becoming their set reality, right? And the home prep, lack thereof, or too much, okay? And yes, you can do too much. This is going to be a stressful time. You want to have a realtor that knows what they're doing guide you through this. And by a realtor that knows what they're doing, I mean a realtor who has sold 5 to 10 properties in the last 6 months. They have a wealth of knowledge that you need to take advantage of. They will tell you what buyers in your area are paying, what their interest rates are for those buyers. They will tell you buyer trends. For example, buyers look for homes that are 60 to 120 days on the market and they come in $20,000 below ask. You won't get that from an online estimate. You're not going to get that from an appraiser. You're going to get that from somebody who's in the field working buyers. Your local realtor has to be asked the question, how many homes have you sold? Them personally. Sold doesn't mean they got the seller to say, yeah, sell my house. How many homes have they actually sold where they control the buyer purchasing that? Now, why is that important? As a listing agent, I'm going to do everything I can to sell your house. But typically, it's the buyer's agent that's bringing the client. That's the agent that's talking to the client. It's the agent that's convincing that client that this would be a better option than another, okay? So you want to find out, even with the listing agents, ask them how many houses they personally have sold with buyers over the last 5 to 10 sales over the last 6 months. So you've heard me say, find an agent who's sold between 5 to 10 homes in the last 6 months, many times. The reason for that is these agents will understand buyer trends, seller trends, the ins and outs of negotiations, what appraisers are doing, because believe it or not, appraisers have trends as well. They're going to understand how to get around problems. They're going to have a crew of people working with them, from roofers to plumbers to electricians, that will be able to help you navigate the issues that come up with the process. Agents that have sold 5 to 10 homes in the last 6 months are the people you need to be speaking with while you do business here in San Antonio. And Celia and I would love the opportunity to go to work for you, your friends, your family, or anybody who's looking to buy or sell here in San Antonio.